Welcome to sports. We're counting down the days till the all-time 5 championship game. 5 days from now, we're going to see if number 1 Lanphier or number 2 Lincoln is going to win it all. On Monday, we had the great Doug Collins and Dan Duff, both starting point guards, previewing the X's and O's. Today, we're just going to get some great stories from Doug's playing career, from the north side of Springfield to Iowa State to even NBA camps. We need to talk about his accomplishments because few in the history of our viewing area have done this. Defensive Player of the Year in the old Big Eight, remember them? With Kansas and Oklahoma. Second in that league in assists, better than 14 points a game. The man did it all. He was a Division I star. And here's a story about his interactions in the NBA. 2 teams that wanted him in 1991.
Let me see. After Iowa State, I had the opportunity to go to the Phoenix Suns rookie camp. That opened my eyes a lot. And then I got drafted in the CBA by the Tulsa Zone by an Iowa State alumni named Lefty Keith Moore. He was the head coach. And so I must say that experience at the Phoenix Suns, just the workouts and just seeing these professional men there, I knew I had to do more to uplift my game. They actually invited me back to the veteran camp, but at that time in 1991, they had, you got to realize they had, I want to say Dan Marley, KJ, Charles Barkley, Cedric Sabalas, Richard Dumas, which was my roommate.
Really?
Oh, man, he was awesome. That was my roommate. And they had drafted him and Chad Gallagher, who I played against in college from Creighton. The Washington Bullets wanted me in 1991 in the second round. Then the Sacramento Kings was interested, and then the Phoenix Suns was interested. And what happened was those NBA representatives, I was one of the top 32 seniors in the country coming out in 1991. So they sent us over to Tokyo to play in a Northeast Southwest All-Star game. And so my team won it. Matter of fact, Randy Brown was my backcourt mate for the Bulls.
No.
Oh, yeah. I had Randy Brown, Isaac Austin, who got drafted by Utah.
What was freshman Fred Hoiberg like?
Fred was an awesome player. We used to go to his games over at at Ames High School anyway. So, and we also played in the men's league over at Ames High School. And matter of fact, my era was the first to start the Ames Summer League in Ames, Iowa. And believe it or not, I'm the one named Fred Hoiberg, the mayor.
You are?
Yeah, you can look it up, type it in.
How did you come to that nickname?
Well, you
gotta hear this story.
Well, I'll just break it down simple. So what happened was he had Lauren Meyer, Harold Beecham, and Fred Hoiberg. Okay, so Fred was from Ames. Harold Beecham and Lauren Meyer was from Des Moines, Iowa. So they was like the talk of the whole state. And Fred was just like God in Ames, Iowa. And so, one day we in the training room, and Fred used to visit us anyway. He knew us. And so he was one of probably the only few high schoolers that used to play pickup with us and played in the summer league. So with that being said, one day he came to the training room. I was just like, man, you the mayor of Ames. Every time I turn around, so I just started calling him. I was like, you know what? That's your new name. You the mayor of Ames. And I called like Harold Beecham, the governor, and called like Lauren Meyer, who played for the Boston Celtics. I think I called him like the lieutenant governor. And they was just like, oh, wow. So I just stuck with it, the mayor of Ames. So every time I see him, the mayor of Ames, Fred Hoiberg. So then everybody, our trainer, Steve Stricker, he caught on to it, and everybody started calling him that. And so they was like, I think a few years back, they did an interview with him at the Bulls, and they asked him, where did he get the name? He was like, Doug Collins gave it to me.
He was like the real Doug Collins.
Real Doug Collins.
That's amazing. So was he automatically kind of welcomed into the fold as a freshman, or did you guys kind of rough him up and let him
he was already ready to go. Fundamentally sounded, a hell of an athlete. They just talk about basketball, but in football, he could have went to some Division I schools in football as a quarterback. He was just an athlete, so hometown hero. And, there had to be a lot of pressure staying at home playing for Iowa State. But, hey, look where it took him to.
All right, well, I'm pumped about this because we have a stone-cold killer on the show here today. The original Doug Collins, the real Doug Collins here. Iowa State, Lanphier, superstar, one of the best point guards in Central Illinois history. Doug, when you think back to your career, which did you have the most fun at? Did you have the most fun at Lanphier, Iowa State, after Iowa State?
Oh, man, that's a tough question because I enjoyed and loved my teammates at Lanphier High School. We was in some good battles in high school. at Iowa State, I mean, we had the number 1 schedule in the country in 1991. You got to realize we were returning Sam Mack, Mark Ball, Victor Alexander, and 2 of those, Sam Mack and Mark Ball, didn't end up playing our senior year. But we had the number 1 schedule in the country. Michigan, Minnesota, Syracuse, Indiana, Temple, you name it, Iowa, and not to mention just the Big 8 conference itself as a whole, Minnesota. So just the experience, that's just like unbelievable. But I will say this, when I returned home, I had some of the best basketball from my friend Ronte used to open the gym at Concordia. Ty Green, and they used to open the gym over at SCI, the YMCA. And then that's the first time I finally linked up and played Gus Macker. First time ever. He'd been asking me for years. Then I had a winter league. They had an SRD league, A league, which was awesome. You got to realize that's ex-college players, local stars. So that right there, I mean, that went on for years. I mean, competitively wise, that was awesome. So my experience, I'm going to have to call it a draw because each experience, I would be cheating the other if I just pinpoint one.
How did you develop your style? Because you came up along at a time before point guards were supposed to be playmakers.
Actually, you know what? I started as a small forward at Lanphier.
You did?
And then it just transitioned into, once I got to college, you had to, at my position, you had to be more involved with the ball handling with potentially draftees. And so what happened with that situation was, at the time when we flew over there, the NBA agents, they were on the plane with us. And they're letting us know, you're here because of me. I want to take a look at you. And actually, my team won it. We won a Crystal Trophy.
Yes. You did?
Yeah, so those guys went on, some of them went on to get drafted. Like I said, a couple teams were interested in me. So what happened, the Phoenix Suns, I went out to their rookie free agent camp. I actually led the team in scoring, like 13 a game on the free agent rookie camp. And but on the invitation side, I was caught up in between returning back to school. I only had, a semester or 2 to go, graduation. So I was kind of torn. I'm an only child, single parent home, so I'm kind of torn. Plus, with that invitation, they, like I said, they had their full team. So I ended up, staying. Then the Philadelphia 76ers called me for like a 10-day contract doing the school. I was in shape, ready to go, and Coach Orr at that time was like, Doug is not interested. He's going to stay and get his degree. So that's how they came about. And then right there in October, the CBA, Tulsa's own Lefty Keith Moore, who was a coach, who was an Iowa State ex-player, drafted me. And so I was just like, I'm just going to stay here at Iowa State and complete school. It burned for years. I think that's what brought the competitive nature around here, and the coaching. And once I finished up, actually my last year, I was on the staff with Coach Orr, and he was like, Doug, this will keep you affiliated with basketball. So I was like his student assistant. And so that was during the time Fred Hoiberg was a freshman. So.
Wow. That's incredible. So what's the story of how you got to Iowa State?
Oh, let me see. Johnny Orr, Johnny Orr from
Illinois, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. From the IBCA basketball All-Star game. I was the state MVP for the AA South in 1987. And so second in the slam dunk contest to Marcus Liberty for the state, Illinois. So what happened
we'll talk about that after this.
Okay. So actually what happened, Iowa State was there watching Mark Ball. And so he was from Elgin. So he played after me in the AA North game. And so they just liked me from there. And I think they followed me. I was a Prop 48. I ended up going to Johnny Logan. And Tom Ashman, the coach of Johnny Logan, was there as well, But originally I went and visited Texas A&M Shelby Metcalf. The only reason I didn't stay out there, he brought me out on a visit. The only reason I didn't stay because I had to go to JUCO, and they sent me to Carl Albert Junior College in Pote, Oklahoma. And at that time, their living facilities wasn't adequate. So my mom called Tom Ashman to Johnny Logan, and he said, you know what, Peggy, I got a scholarship waiting on Doug. And we drove from Pote, Oklahoma, all the way to Carterville, Illinois.
Wow.
And there you have it. And by the way, that guy from Louisville, Washington took was LaBradford Smith.
Okay. Big man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's how I came about Iowa State. And the thing what I like about Iowa State, they follow me not only from high school all the way through junior college and stuck with me and used to fly me out to visit. And once my very first visit, I was just sold in. I was like, this is the place to be, man. I mean, they've been with me. And then I like the fact they came and visited. They came to my household. They stayed overnight. They were there with me. My assistant coach, Jim Hallahan, is from a state tournament team in Decatur, Illinois. And then Johnny Orr is from Taylorville state tournament team. So they know about Central Illinois. So that just really reel me in.
Wow, yeah, Hallahan, part of those legendary Stephen Decatur running Reds teams. I mean, 62, they beat Cassie Russell in the state championship game in Carver. So some great memories there. That's amazing. So
and then like my other assistant coach, Steve Krafskerson, who was the head girls coach at DMAC currently, I mean, he was from I want to say like not St. Teresa, Saint something out of Chicago. And I mean, he the only at that time he's the only one of two players who have played in a Final Four with two different teams. I think he played for Iowa and he played for the North Carolina, I believe.
Wow.
So it was like an Illinois coaching staff.
Yeah, right.
So
that's amazing. So
that's awesome.
You were second in the Big 8 in assists. I mean, that's incredible. And that's a powerhouse conference. For those that don't know, I mean, we're talking Kansas, we're talking, Oklahoma.
Yeah, we had during that time, it was some very tough teams. I mean, we lost to the number one team in the country, Missouri, 2 times on buzzer beaters. I mean, to lead to conference, actually, I was defensive player of the year in 1991. I was on the defensive team in 1990. And I was player of the year defensively in 1991. In doing so, I also, led the team in assists. And, I mean, someone had to distribute the ball. We had scores. And I'll never forget when I broke the lineup, a guy named Adrian Moore, who was a senior my junior year, he went down with a knee injury like the third or fourth game of the season. And he looked at me and was like, Doug, you're going to have to step in, man. And I was like, I was already 6 man. And we was at the University of Minnesota. And so stepped in and never looked back. Averaged 12 that year and like 14 and 15 my senior year. And, never looked back. And I'm talking about if you look at the teams in the Big 8 doing them, I mean, it's a lot of drafted players in 91. 91 is a hell of a basketball year.
So I think
for college athletes.
I think was it Brent Price? Was that Oklahoma or was it Mark Price?
You talking about he did coach at St. Louis. Wait. He went to Oklahoma.
Yeah, one of the Price brothers.
It might be Brent. It's Brent,
Brent Price.
Oh, yeah, he can shoot.
Who were some of those, the top players that you ever got a chance to play against?
Let me see.
Either in or out of the conference, just top player, period.
Okay. Well, Doug Christie for Temple. Doug Christie for Pepperdine.
Yeah,
Mark Macon for Temple. Let me see. Brian Williams, Matt Othick, Chris Mills for Arizona. Syracuse. Who did they have? Billy Owens. I had to face Ramil Robinson my junior year. Calbert Chaney.
Some people think he's the best college player in Indiana history.
Oh, he was tough. A lefty.
Another lefty. You got tribe.
Let me see. Oklahoma. You had the Price guy. Oklahoma State. You had you had Corey Williams, who got drafted by the Bulls, played for the Bulls. You also had the big guy. He got drafted too. I just can't think of his name. You got Nebraska. The big guy.
Eric Piatkowski.
Oh, Eric Piatkowski was tough. Yeah. You had Eric. I mean, Colorado, you had Steve Wise, Sean Vandiver. Kansas State. They had one of my homeboys from Peoria, Jeff Wires. They had Henson, who gave us 41. Missouri had Doug Smith, but Anthony Peeler, oh my God, Anthony was tough. So these are the guys. Every put it like this.
That's a tough league.
Kansas. Kansas had a hell of a team. Adonis Jordan, Ricky Callaway, Mark Randall. So that's just to name a few. I'm probably missing some
That's
people.
Crazy.
But
who's the person at any level of your career? Who was the most impressive person where you felt their presence and you said that guy is elite?
Basketball wise, you talking about on the court, college or high school?
Either. What's the most impressed you've ever been with a player?
Oh man, it's been several. Let me see. Anthony Peeler was a scorer. Ramil Robinson. I always had to guard the best player on the team. So these guys that I'm naming, I had to guard.
Wow.
Ramil Robinson. Oh my God. I mean, Mark Macon, North Carolina. She would play against George Lynch and Rick Fox. So I'm just.
Wow.
Let me see. Just to name a few.
Right.
I mean,
the second we hang up, you're going to think of somebody.
It'll pop up. Those stand out. Billy Owens was very impressive.
Played for the Kings,
Yeah, Calbert Chaney, you named it. Like I said, that group right there, we're talking about first rounders. We're talking about lottery selections. So I'm gonna go there for the time.
Ramil Robinson, that's a name that you seem to bring up a bunch. What about him made him so dangerous?
Who is that?
Ramil Robinson.
His ball handlers. He'll look at you and, man, I'm talking about boom, boom, and he's gone. And then he can get up off the ground. He'll dunk it. And I mean, but Mark Macon had to be the quickest player that I probably ever played against.
Wow.
I mean, he had a one dribble, and he could pull up. He's 6'4", 6'5". He could pull up the jump shot. I can go on to the rim. That was some difficult work right there. And my center, Victor Alexander, knew him from Detroit. He told me, he said, Doug, I'm telling you, tonight you got your hands full. If you can just contain him, So coming out, I was like, if I could just contain. Doug Christie was tough.
And Pepperdine.
Yeah, we was in the Diet Pepsi Classic tournament in North Carolina, like 4 or 6 teams in Tucson. So he was tough. I mean.
I got to hear the Victor Alexander, the bunk bed story.
Well, okay. Big Vic was my roommate. When I got there and I found out he was my roommate, and I was like, okay, I'm thinking 6'9", 265, 290. You get on the bottom bunk. And so he was like, nah, we got a loft. You get up top. I'm gonna get up top. So he would climb up there. Here's a guy a big teddy bear. You wouldn't even know he up there sometimes, unless he'd be like, hey, Doug, man, order some size pizza twins. Size Pizza used to have some twin pizzas, yeah. But like, man, order some size pizza twins, But beautiful person, good person.
And you just pray that the top wouldn't collapse.
I prayed that the loft wouldn't fall, and I was like, oh my God. Every time he climbed up there, I'm looking up like, oh my God. Good guy though.
That's amazing.
He was a gentle giant.
I want to know about your Lanphier days. That's where you got made. Yeah. I mean, that's where you found your identity. What was the transition from first year to senior year, and who were the greats that you looked up to growing up?
Oh man, the '83 team to start out. I couldn't wait to put on a Lanphier Lion Letterman jacket and a Lanphier Lion uniform. I couldn't wait to play for Bob Nike. I was praying that I could, get on this team. Actually, prior to that, in '82, we the first team at Washington Middle School that went to state, and we got beat by Phoenix Coolidge out of Harvey, Illinois. And I didn't get the opportunity to play in the championship game because about 7 or 8 of us were playing over at the boys club, and at that time the boys club league was just full of all the superstars.
That was number one.
So we was addicted, and we didn't know it's an IESA rule back then that you couldn't play in a league and then play. So I didn't get to play in the championship game, but that team was awesome. And then they transitioned to Lanphier. So my first year at Lanphier, we had like 10 or 15. We had like about 12 to 15 guys. At the end of the season, I was like one of the last 7 still standing for whatever reasons. That transitioned into my sophomore year. I was on the team. Once again, we transitioned from 15 to down to about 8. And I remember the last 7 games, I remember going to the Decatur Eisenhower and William Horton. I remember our JV coach asked him, who should we start? And he was like, you should start Doug Collins, Mark Smith, me, and I think Cliff Williams, and it might have been Greg Harris. And I never looked back from then.
Wow. Man, I mean, it's been so much fun. So a lot of folks know I've been doing this all-time 5 project.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. That's beautiful.
I've got I think it's more than 20,000 words, 75 pages or something, and we're down to the final game. And I swear, on my mug collection here, that I did not alter the results. That this was that Lanphier and Lincoln, the 2 teams that should be in the championship game, are in the championship game. And so now here coming up today, this interview will help kick off, this week leading up to the finals. I got the 2 rosters here, Coach Collins.
Ooh.
And of course we got you at the point. We have to. We got you and Jeff Walker.
Love Jeff.
How good was he for folks that didn't get a chance to see him play?
For those who didn't get ready to get to see him, you've seen a NBA professional athlete that just needed 1 year at the University of Iowa. If he had to maintain and could have maintained and had, the family support and the backing. See, a lot of times it just be the backing and the family support. You have to have support when you go into college. Mm-hmm. And but Jeff Walker is a 6'5", 6'6" athlete that personally I think would have made the NBA. He could shoot, and he would have been on the team with Andre Woolridge and Kingsbury. And I mean, that team right there, they were just lacking him. But they knew him because he had went to school up that way. Mm-hmm. But Jeff Walker.
Gifted.
I'm going to tell you this. The 2 prettiest jumpers I've seen in Lanphier history, and I know we got a lot of scores, but Jeff Walker and George Streeter jump shot is unbelievable.
George Streeter. We're going to add him to the roster here.
George Streeter. I used to look up to George.
I'm still compiling the full list because it's, you're talking about 100 years of history.
Right.
No archives.
Right. Most definitely.
You gotta hope and pray you can find the right newspaper article from 1960.
Yeah, a lot of it is on microfilm and microfiche now, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we got you. We got Jeff Walker. And we got Rich McBride in the backcourt. That's a scary backcourt right there.
Love Rich. True scorer.
We're talking about second in the Big 8 in assists. Tom Davis said that Jeff Walker was the most physically gifted athlete he's ever recruited.
I'm telling you, he's a friend of mine. He's unbelievable.
And then we got Rich McBride, top 40 national recruit, 2-time CSA Player of the Year.
He was ahead of LeBron at one time.
In recruiting rankings, really?
The recruiting ranking, yeah. He was ahead of LeBron one time in the recruiting rankings. I know my Lanphier history now.
Hey, dude, you got orange. Your blood is orange. I know that for a fact. So those are kind of the guards. Then we got Kev Gamble, playing kind of a hybrid role, a bigger guard, smaller forward. What was it like going up against him in pickup games and stuff?
It was awesome. Matter of fact, he did an article on me and Artie Taylor back his last rounds of the NBA from playing over at SCI. And
really?
Yeah, he did an article. It's somewhere at home, somewhere around. It's not far. And he was just talking. They asked him how did he stay in shape in Springfield, Illinois? And he said playing against competition like Doug Collins and Artie Taylor and other men over at Springfield College. I mean, it was competitive. I mean, that's why I brought up Rodney Walker, because he was one who was Decatur with a team, and it had turned into Decatur, Jacksonville, Lanphier. You bring your 5, and we're ready to go.
Who were some of those names that you remember playing against? Who did Rodney bring over from Decatur?
Oh, let me see.
We'll get them on a different Zoom, maybe.
Yeah, you got me thinking. You might have to ask Rodney. It was, it's
he
been.
Said that you used to
I tell you. Go ahead.
I was to say, I heard you used to throw him half-court alley-oops.
Oh, that was my man. Actually, what happened, how I met Rodney was between Eric Watson and Ty Green. We was playing over here in Riverton at a gym on Sundays, and everybody kept saying, "We got somebody for you." And I was like, why is everybody trying to find somebody for me? I'm just coming to play pickup. And so I get there, and this guy, I mean, he could shoot, he could jump out the gym. Didn't know he had played as in New Mexico State. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, this is a hell of an athlete right here. So, it got to a point, now we're playing regularly on Sundays, and now he's coming to Springfield, and it got to the point one time he was like, Doug, why everybody keep us against each other? Why won't we team up and play together? And when we did that, we ran the men's league.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Kevin Gamble, and I admit I cheated on the starting lineup because I was not about to pick 5 out of the 6 because all 6 guys. So I had, of course, Ed Horton, arguably the most decorated high school player in school history between being Mr. Basketball and McDonald's All-American in 1985. What do you remember about Ed Horton?
I rode on the bus with him. I was a sophomore. I mean, professional at all times. You know, he had on suits at the games. You know, the locker room was full of enthusiasm. You know, now he had a hell of a point guard in Pat McGuire. You got Omar Rahim, Ed Horton, William Horton, Willie Greer, Paul Pipus. I mean, so as a sophomore, seeing this, I mean, we went to some heated battles. Some that stand off the top is Peoria Manual, Lincoln, and I remember he played against, I think this guy named it ain't Jesse White, it's something White. No, Jesse Hall. He went to Michigan State. So, like I said, Ed was our big brother of the 80s. Very good person. Still, we still friends. We see each other and talk on the regular. But that was just big brother. That's just the bottom line. I mean, Mr. Basketball, we need to say no more.
That's crazy. I mean, there's 4 McDonald's All-Americans in the history of the 217 area code, east of Quincy. It's Ed Horton. Can you name him? Let's see.
Well, I know
nobody gets this answer right. Just FYI.
Okay, is it Brian Cook?
Brian Cook.
Ed Horton, Brian Cook. Let me see. If it's Quincy.
No, east of Quincy. So not including Quincy.
Oh! It's somebody from Manual. I know not.
But in our area code though.
It's in y'all area code.
Well, because Peoria's got a ton.
Okay.
But they're 309, so
it's not MacArthur. So it got to be
all the way.
Is he from Champaign?
There's one from Champaign.
He's 1985, right? Did he go to Cincinnati?
Yep.
Come on, I know. I just can't think of his name. Oh, I could see him. He played for University of Cincinnati.
He's second all time in scoring when he left, behind Big O.
Okay. So I got 3. I just can't. Oh, I know his name.
Roger.
It ain't. Do it start with an M? McClendon?
Yep, you got it.
I'm on.
Collins.
Yes, come on. I'm on. Okay, so I got
lefty all day.
So I got 3, right?
You nailed it. Yep. The 4th one's the hardest.
Is he?
Played for Kentucky.
Is he from Lincoln?
Yep.
Not do it start with a V?
Yep. Wow, you're good.
Vander something. I don't.
Verderber. Chuck Verderber.
Okay. Chuck Verderber. Okay. Gordon. I'm a hooper, man. Illinois, man.
I'm impressed. You got more than most people that fools him just because. Well, and then there's so many other good people that were that caliber, but before the award. Like, for example, Norm Cook from Lincoln.
Awesome.
Would have been, but they didn't have McDonald's All-American.
But let me tell you, his brother, Joe, awesome. That was my backcourt mate at Prairie State and the IBCA All-Star game.
No way.
Yes, it was. He class of 87. He went to Duke.
That kind of athleticism at the guard spot, that's crazy. To have you two.
He the first guy taught me how to windmill dunk in Decatur. Our coach was Reese Binger.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was an all-star game, or what was that?
It was a Prairie State game. And then me and him, we used the backcourt to Prairie State games, West Central. Me, him, Andy Kaufman, Ron Curry,
no way.
Barry Johnson from U-High. I think we had Troy Stanley from Decatur, MacArthur, Rick Kahn from Jacksonville. Yeah, we had a very interesting team. And then me and Joe left from the Prairie State games and then played in the IBC All-Star game, which was backcourt again.
Oh my God.
He the first guy taught me how to windmill dunk.
So what was your vertical? Because you can't be more than what, 6 feet?
Yeah, at that time I don't.
It had to be at least 40.
It was up, but I you know what? I'm coming through an era we never even tested vertical. I never had it tested. Once you start dunking, you just dunk it. So
that's crazy. All right, so we got that history down. Okay, so then in the front court, you got Ed Horton and Kevin kind of at the small forward or power forward position for Ed, and then Andre Iguodala. I mean, enough said.
I mean, I don't even have a word for Andre. Awesome.
What was the first moment when you saw him where you said, that kid's going to be special, and I don't just mean college?
Well, let me say this. I used to open the gym for Andre and Rich McBride. See, I used to have open gym at Lanphier. I was a boys volunteer assistant under Coach Patton and Pat McGuire before I took over the girls' job. So by me coming back from Iowa to Springfield, I used to open the gym, and it used to have the city best there. And they were in high school, young high school. Well, they were the only high schooler that was playing with us on Sundays at Concordia when Ronte Harris used to open the gym. And so they playing against ex-pro athletes, ex-college athletes. And let me tell you, they were holding their own. They'll tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So okay, so now let's talk about these matchups.
Okay.
So Lincoln's tough. Lincoln, it goes without saying, one of their big things is that they have some elite guards like Joe. Joe's actually probably coming off the bench on this team, which is scary.
Wow.
The thing with them, and this is going to be the big debate, is they've got better size than Lanphier does.
Okay.
So Lanphier, both of them have, I think, 4 All-Americans, so it's even there. So they've got Joe. The guards, if you were to go with 6, Joe, Dan Duff, who played at Notre Dame.
Okay.
Dan is so good. They're all about passing at Lincoln. He's 200 assists higher than anybody else in Lincoln history.
Unbelievable.
Took him to state, a long career, played with John Paxson at Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
Then Greg Alexander is one of the best shooters in area history.
He could shoot. His brother could play too.
Oh, yeah, right. Jeff, who's now at Illinois on staff there.
Yeah. He went to
West. Locked down Keon Clark.
That's awesome. Hey, he was doing that era Prairie State, I believe, with us around there. He went to Western Illinois, right? Okay.
Yes, sir. Western Illinois. That's how we got connected with Coach Underwood.
Okay.
So Joe Cook, Dan Duff, Greg Alexander. Then it gets real scary with some of these McDonald's All-American types. You got Norm Cook, who was like the 17th overall pick to the Celtics.
I know.
Did you ever get a chance to see him play when you were real?
I didn't never get to see Norm.
Okay, you're probably just young enough, yeah. But legendary, went to Kansas, was a superstar at Kansas. Chuck Verderber, 6'6", do it all. Played at Kentucky, all 4 years. McDonald's All-American, and then Brian Cook, McDonald's All-American, Big Ten Player of the Year, 12-year NBA career. Friends with Kobe Bryant. And then the funny thing about Lincoln is that a lot of people don't know they have other studs, like Seymour Reed went to Bradley. He was even before Verderber.
Okay.
He was a star at Bradley, and he was a high school All-American too, in 1970. So, and then you got, Jermaine Hamlin, who's at Illinois now, and a bunch of other, Josh Komnick, guys that were superstars.
Oh, man, I remember Josh launched that jumper in 1996.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, he's on the radio crew, right?
Right, absolutely.
So when I see him, I always be like, man, you still got that pretty jump shot? Yeah, I know Josh.
If I could pick one guy to go back in time, he'd be one of the people I'd pick just because
he was tough, man.
You look at his resume, and he didn't play college ball. He was going to play baseball, and he got a really bad, I think, shoulder injury. But
really? Okay.
Coach Alexander said that he is tied for the best high school player he ever coached.
Hey, I'm telling you, he could play and he could shoot. There's one thing about Lincoln, you're going to get you some good shooting in that 1-2-2 press. Now, you take it how you want to. That's one of the toughest places to play ever.
I love it. All right, so give me a pitch here in like a 30-second nutshell. How are you going to sell Lincoln beating Lanphier, or Lanphier beating Lincoln here? How are you going to sell that?
How I'm going to sell it?
How's this game going to play out? What's your strategy? How do you attack a team with 6'9", 6'9", 6'6" up front, and then some, Joe Cook playing defense?
Okay.
What's your pitch for Lanphier Nation against this Raylor squad?
What's my pick?
Or what's your pitch? How?
Okay. I'm looking at the size. We definitely gonna have to press a lot. I mean, looking at their size, but they got some good ball handlers. It look like we're gonna have to go through an old school formality. Either we're gonna have to stack it, or we're gonna have to do a lot of pick and rolls and make their big man, react. If he fade back, we got jump shooters.
I love it.
If he switch, we got one-on-one skills.
Okay.
And then we got an All-American big man that could shoot the jumper and play the post. Now, on the defensive side, as you were saying, we got Andre Iguodala, he got awesome defense. He was known for defense before offense. You know, we got shooters in Jeff Walker and Richard McBride. So I'm pick and rolling, and I'm stacking, and I'm going pressing.
Who would you want to guard? Who would be the guy you'd want to man up?
Oh, in my today's form?
Or just against this Lincoln team, you know, the guards will be Dan Duff, Greg Alexander, Joe Cook. And you could go against Verderber if you want, but he's 6'6" and strong.
Joe is such an athlete. And then he could jump out the gym. Duff is a assist man, but he could score. I'm gonna take my chance and guard Duff. I would put Andre Iguodala on Joe Cook.
Wow.
You know, 6'6", athletic, long wingspan. I'm gonna guard the point.
Lock him down. Okay, I like that.
I don't know if I'm gonna lock him down. I'm gonna try to contain him. You know, good players find a way to maneuver.
That's amazing. And then real quick here, the bench for Lanphier. You know, I said it in the video. These guys deserve to be starters too. You know, you got Xavier Bishop, Larry Austin. You know, even Yakima Rose, Victor Chukwudebe, guys like that. You know, even more recently, you know, Tyler Klunick went to Harvard. I mean, Everett Clemens. Who would be off the bench? Who would be some guys you would look to off the bench?
From that crew? You talking about from that group you named?
From that off the bench, who would you be like, all right, hey, come on in. We need you to get some minutes here.
From that group you just named?
From that bench group, yeah.
I'm not going to sell none of them short. Each one of them could give us a break and not miss a beat. I mean, you got a scorer in Xavier Bishop. You got I'm going to call Larry Austin. That's like a Scottie Pippen, you know? I mean, you got Victor Alexander. I mean, no. Chukwudebe, who could play the middle and athletic, can jump out the gym, U of I graduate. I mean, you got Yakima Rose. I mean, they can replace any of us. I mean, and not miss a beat. What you'll probably you'll probably get a more up and down tempo. You're going to get a faster tempo and quick offense. You know,
I love it.
Yeah, the group we had, we're going to fundamentally sound you, and we're going to give it to the guys who hot.
All right, well, I appreciate it. One more question for you. We've got to talk about Donnell Bivens. What kind of guy was he?
Quiet assassin, real quiet, good person. He used to come home with me on the weekends. Man, we stayed together actually off campus. One of my first off-campus apartments. Donnell, he was a freshman. Athletic wingman, get out on the open court, dunk it, play good defense. Great person.
That's awesome. Well, you've been so generous with your time. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing these memories. Is there anything I didn't ask you about that you'd like to say?
I'd just like to say, don't tell Blake Turner. Whatever you do, don't tell Blake.
How good you were.
Yeah, don't tell him. If you call him and ask him, just mention Doug Collins' name, and he just gets fired up. Just say, did Doug used to beat you one-on-one? That's all it takes, Gordon, and it's over with.
And, Coach, you're going to go for back-to-back state appearances here. We got a chance to interview a bunch about this season, but now that you're a couple months removed from that, how proud are you of those girls?
Oh, I'm very proud of the girls. It's been 21 years in the making. We've had a lot of talent. This group bought in. They were determined themselves to make a difference and leave a legacy. I'm very proud of them who made history, first girls team or sport at Lanphier to go and place a state. We've had individuals. So the history making, that was awesome. The city supported us. Alumni supported us. Our school and faculty supported us. I mean, it's been some trial seasons for myself. People just don't even know. You know, you have to have some tough skin to stay in this. I've been 2-21, you know, so to make it to state in a lot of years. So to make it to state was awesome. It was unbelievable. It was so real until it was unbelievable. I still haven't celebrated.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully when people are watching this video, they can appreciate that you've contributed to your city, not just as a player, but as a mentor to those girls. And so congratulations on everything you built with that program. Because I know you went through some, you know, tough times. A lot of people would have given up, but you didn't give up. So congratulations.
Brutal. And please tell Blake Turner I was IBCA All-State, third team All-State. Whatever you do, you contact him and let him know. That's the only Lion that I argue with. And BON to the Lion Nation. I love you all. And, you know, we really don't compete or talk basketball amongst each other because we all have represented our school well in our own way. So
awesome. Well, DC, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro.